In this lesson, we're going to talk about slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. Just a reminder, slope of a non-vertical line is the ratio of the height, the rise over the run, right? So how much you go up versus how much you go horizontally. That's the slope, and it's represented by the letter m. So a lot of times you'll see slope equals rise over run. And all that means is the change in the y value over the change in the x value. Triangle means change, so change in y over the change of x. So let's find the slope of this one. So the way you want to find slope is always the same thing. You find 2 points. So you have to find 2 points first. And what I mean by that, you want to find two that like cross at a corner. So like I can't pick this guy, like that's not a point. But this guy, that's a point. And then we got to find another point that crosses a corner also. So again, like this would not work. This would work. I'm going to use this one right here though. It's a little closer. And all we got to do is the change in the x or the change in the y. So, and you always want to go from left to right. And we're going to go that way. This makes it easier. So that's 2. And then this is 1. So again, slope would be rise over run, which is just y over x. So in this case, my y was 1, my x was 2. So 1/2. Right, so let's do this one just a little faster. Same idea, find 2 points that cross nicely. So I'll say like here and here. In this case, we're going to go down, so -2, and then over. Right, that's why it matters. You want to go like left to right, this way. Right, so to go from here to there, I got to go down, so it's a negative. So my slope here, would be -2 over 1, or just -2. Like that. Find the slope of this one. So again, you can find 2 points. Now, if you want, and you go like, oh, what's change of y over the change of x? How does that work on here? Well, you don't rise at all. So right, if I did rise over run, right, you don't rise at all. So 0. And my run, if I pick these 2 points, would be 1, 2, 3. But 0 over anything is just 0. So my slope here is 0. On this one, I can do the same thing, pick 2 points. There's like a lot to choose from. And then rise over run. Well, rise, let's say in this case, I went from here to here. Let's say I rose 2. Run, we didn't run at all, so 0. Well, you can't divide by 0. By 0. So this is undefined. The way I like to think about it is like walking. It's like how much is the slope when you walk, right? How much is the incline? Right. Positive, you're walking uphill. Not 1/2's not too bad. Negative, you're walking downhill. That's pretty steep, -2. Over here, this guy is happy. There's no incline at all. You can walk that easily. So easy. But over here, that's a wall. Unless you're Spider-Man, you can't walk up the wall. So you can't do it. So it's undefined. Right. So that's how I remember which one's which. So 0 slope, horizontal line, undefined slope, vertical line, because you can't walk up a wall, right? It's just like walking. You can walk a horizontal line easy. There's no resistance at all. Can't walk up a wall. Okay, what if I gave you a point, 2 points? Well, you could plot them and do the same thing, or you could use the slope equation, right? y2 minus y1 over x2 over m over x2 minus x1. We've gone over the equation before, so I'm not going to go over it again, but if we're going to do this, x1, y1, x2, y2, right? And all we're going to do is type it in. So this is going to be 3 minus 8 and 4 minus -3. Now keep in mind, right, that already had a negative. That doesn't change my negative here, right? So it's always, this is the formula, and then we're just plugging this in or substituting it into the different variables. So that becomes negative. And 2 negatives make a positive. So on top we have 3 minus 8, which is -5. And on the bottom we have 4 plus 3, which is 7. And that's our slope, -5 over 7. Okay, let's talk about slope of parallel lines. If they're parallel, then they're going to have the same slope. So parallel lines have the same slope. They have different y-intercepts, but the same slope. Now, if I want to know if these 2 lines are parallel, well, I just got to find the slope, right? So we're going to find 2 points and then find the slope. So that's 2, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So my slope here is 2 over 4, or 1/2. I do the same thing right here. Find 2 points. And I get 4 and 2 again. So 2 over 4, which is 1/2. So yeah, parallel. Over here, these don't look parallel, but let's confirm it. Pick your points. That's -2 and 3. And then I'll do the same thing over here, right? Pick 2 points. So let's say, ooh, so that's not a good point. That's not a good point. That's not a good, this one. And maybe that one. There we go. That one's good. So -2. And then I go over 4. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4 is a little longer than that one. So this one's -1/2 again. So this is not parallel. They're not the same. Okay. So perpendicular lines. So perpendicular lines look like this. They cross at a 90-degree angle. Oh, that means that their slopes are negative reciprocals. So the way to think about that, slope 1 times slope 2 is -1. I always like to think about it as they're negative reciprocals. So what that means for me is, let's say one of them is, for example, is like -2. That means my perpendicular slope, it's gonna be, you change this, you negate it, you flip the sign, so it goes from, in this case, negative to positive, and you make a reciprocal, you turn it upside down. So this would be 1/2. So those two things are negative reciprocals of each other. So that's the way I like it. You flip it and you change the sign. Also known as, if you multiply together, you should get -1. Okay, are these two lines perpendicular? I'll say this one looks perpendicular to me. This one does not, but let's check. So I gotta find 2 points. So let's say here and here. So 2 and 1, another 1/2 slope. Over here, I gotta find 2 points. Y-intercept is good. And then another point is down there. So this would be -3 and over 2. And they don't look like negative reciprocals to me, right? If I flip this one and change the sign, it should be -2. That's not what I have here. Another way to think about it, you could try multiplying them together. And then I do not get -1. I get -3/4. So not parallel. Sorry, not perpendicular. Over here, I'm pretty sure it'll work, but let's try it, I guess. Find 2 points. 1 and 2. So my slope here is 2. Down here, find 2 points. -1 and 2. My slope here is -1/2. And those look like negative reciprocals, right? If I change it, like basically the one I did, right? If you just flip it and change the sign, you get -1/2. So yeah, these are perpendicular. Okay, almost done. Are these lines perpendicular? So remember, for the perpendicular, the negative reciprocal slopes. So here, actually these are not, right? The slope here is -2/3. Slope here is -3/2. They're both negative, so no, they're not perpendicular. Remember, they have to be negative reciprocals. They have to, like, when you multiply, you have to get -1. That doesn't happen here. If you multiply these two, you get a +1. So no. -2/3 times -3/2 gets me +6/6, which is 1. So not -1. So no. And my parallel would just be the same, so that's easier to tell. Here, look at this one, right? Now, here's the main thing about this one. I don't know yet. I don't know what the slope is. The slope is not 7, or 2, I should say, right? You have to get, to know the slope, you have to put it in slope-intercept form. So that's the first step of this one. So this one's a little more work. I got to put in slope-intercept form. So remember, to do that, we got to get the y by itself. So add 2x to this one, add 2x. 7y equals 2x plus 4, divide by 7, divide by 7, divide by 7. So my slope here is 2/7. Now for this one, same idea, that's minus the 7x. So I get 2y equals 10 minus 7x, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. I get y equals 5 minus 7x over 2. Again, all I care about is the slope, so that's -7x, 7/2. These are negative reciprocals of each other, right? If I flip this, I get 2/7 and I change the sign, I get +2/7. So yeah, these are perpendicular. So that's the idea, right? Parallel would be the exact same slope, perpendicular would be negative reciprocals. Okay, last little part. I want to write an equation. So if you remember this, the way you want to write an equation, the easiest way to do this is to use the point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Now all we have to substitute in for is for y1 and x1, which is our point, and your slope, m. Right, so all we need to substitute in. So like this first one here. Write the equation of a line parallel to the given equation that passes to the point -2, 7. So first, anytime I hear those, I go point slope form. I don't care what class I'm teaching, even when I'm taking calculus, I do the exact same thing. Write equation of a line, that's my formula. Now they give me a point, so that's my x1, y1. So -2 and 7. All I need to find is my slope, right? I know it's parallel to this guy. So the slope of this one, since it's in slope intercept form, is 3. And since we're parallel, that means it's the same slope. Right, so parallel means same slope, so also 3. And there you go, you're done. Y minus 7 equals 3x plus 2. Right? It didn't say put in slope intercept form, it said write an equation. We are done. Next one, same idea. Write an equation of a line. Boom. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Then it says of a line perpendicular to the one to the given equation that passes through -6, 1. Okay, so -6, 1 is my x1, y1 again. So -6, 1. The difference with this one is it wants a perpendicular slope, right? So my slope here is 2, but I want a perpendicular slope. So change it for the sign, -1/2. So we get this, y minus 1 equals -1/2 x plus 6. Okay, one last one. Write an equation of a line parallel to the given equation that passes through an 8, -6. Right, so I can always do that first. Write equation of a line. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And then what x1 my y1 are. So easy points. Right, now I gotta find the slope. Now in this case, it's not as easy as the last time, right? Last time they gave it to us in slope intercept form, so we were done. Here, I had to put in slope intercept form to find the slope. So I got a minus 2x from both sides. So we get 3y equals -2x plus 5. And then I'm gonna divide by 3. So I get y equals -2/3 x plus 5. Sorry, it's a bad -2/3. Again, since I only want a parallel slope, I'm just gonna use the exact same slope they gave me. So it's the same slope, so -2/3. And we are done. Y minus 6 equals -2/3 x plus 8. And there you go. That's the lesson.